Hey guys, what's up? This is Teddy Macedo, aka bearRimshot's speaking. Sorry for being very behind with how I've been as a YouTuber. Don't worry, I'm doing the best I can to release as much stuff as possible. But anyways, as usual, I would love to thank you all for your patience with this one once again. But anyways, today I'm gonna be talking about what are my thoughts on D23 Expo 2019. And in case if you're all wondering what are my thoughts on MagFest since I already went there last month, well, I will be very honest here. That'll be for another day. Don't worry. I promise you when I get to MagFest, I will happily talk to you guys about my thoughts on MagFest. For today I'm going to talk to you guys on what are my thoughts on D23 Expo. Okay then. First off, let's talk about the movies. In case if you're all wondering what do I think about, first off, let's just start off with the movies, with Disney animation. Now I bet you're all wondering, what do I think about Frozen 2? Well, I actually enjoyed it, And as much as I may enjoy Frozen 2 for what it is, if you ask me which sequel to a computer animated Disney movie not made by Pixar themselves is better, Ralph Breaks the Internet or Frozen 2, I probably would likely go with Ralph Breaks the Internet. Not just because, well, it's a sequel to a crossover movie that exists. Not only is Ralph Breaks the Internet, not only is the idea of a Wreck-It Ralph sequel always considered one of my most wanted Disney sequels in general of all time, but also, you have to understand, when doing a sequel to a film like Wreck-It Ralph, you're doing a sequel to a crossover movie. Just like if you were to do a sequel to, say, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, regardless of what you think about the idea of a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, if you're doing a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you're doing a sequel to a crossover movie as well. But anyways, back onto Ralph Breaks the Internet. Yeah, also, when looking to the creativity in Ralph Breaks the Internet, there have actually been moments in that particular movie where creative things actually have happened. Only this time, the things that Disney themselves did that felt creative would include having the entire Disney princess lineup literally crossing over with each other, as well as having characters from various Disney, but also having various Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars characters all coexisting within the same universe. Now, of course, it would obviously not be the first time in general that we ever officially get to see Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars all literally crossing over within one place. Or at the very least have Disney animation in general, along with Marvel and Star Wars all crossing over at the same time, or just Marvel and Star Wars on their own. Of course, you guys also got Disney Infinity for all that. Not only that, but also you got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which featured both Wolverine and Darth Maul appearing as playable characters. Not only that, but also long before Disney got to acquire both Marvel and Star Wars and Fox, there was actually a classic DuckTales episode that exists called All Ducks on Deck, where when we do get to see the Phantom Blot make his first ever on-screen appearance within that same exact DuckTales episode called All Ducks on Deck, there's a moment where you can hear the Phantom Blot mention a Disney original villain, a Marvel villain, particularly one whose movie rights would be owned by none other than Fox, and a Star Wars villain in the form of Captain Hook, Doctor Doom, and Darth Vader. Not only that, but also when regarding Marvel and Star Wars, they both did also actually connect with each other outside of things like Ralph Breaks the Internet, Disney Infinity, and DuckTales. Also including things like Tactics, for example, as well as Lego, which include toys, video games, and shorts. And, and, um, and, um, and, also, yeah. And even though I did enjoy Ralph Breaks the Internet for what it is, in case if you're wondering whether or not I actually do have something to complain about regarding that particular movie, if I can be very honest here, yes, I do. A couple of them. Though that still doesn't stop me from enjoying the movie for what it is. For don't forget, there have been some creative elements of how it is as a crossover in general. Don't forget, like as can be seen in the Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like for example, one complaint I do have with Ralph Breaks the Internet would include, well, no sight of any form of Nintendo representation. Which is a total shame considering of how, well, both Nintendo and Disney both do carry such a long history working together. And yeah, I would have loved it if I could see not just Mario appear in a Wreck-It Ralph movie, but also characters like Peach, Waluigi, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Waluigi, Link, Captain Falcon, Falco, and especially Chibi Robo to all coexist within the world of Wreck-It Ralph. And I know I shouldn't believe this particular source, but I did hear rumors from a certain source I know I should not have trusted called "We Got This Covered" that there would indeed be a Wreck-It Ralph 3. If what I'm actually hearing is actually, I would have loved it, regardless if what We've Got This Covered is saying regarding Wreck-It Ralph 3 is actually true or not. You know, I will be very honest here. As much as I know I can't always believe literally every single thing We Got This Covered always says about things. When regarding the idea of a Wreck-It Ralph 3, guilty enough, I would have loved to see, you know. Though if Disney were to make a Wreck-It Ralph 3, I would have loved it if the folks at Disney can explore the world of gaming more, as well as hopefully making sure they get to include Mario in there as well, you know. That would make my day if Disney can not only explore the world of gaming more, but also include a cameo of Mario as well. And if I can be very honest on what I think about John C. Reilly's idea of having Wreck-It Ralph go to space, and the idea of a Disney princess movie that exists, well, I will be very honest here. When regarding John C. Reilly's idea for Wreck-It Ralph sequel, I think it's pretty stupid, but that's just me. Well, you have to understand that Wreck-It Ralph is supposed to be the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of video games, which can likely explain why, as if I feel if Disney were to make any more Wreck-It Ralph movies, well, particularly sequels like Wreck-It Ralph 3, for example, it had to be one that involved exploring the world of gaming of some sort. It can be console gaming, handheld gaming, PC gaming, or whatever. Anything that involves gaming in general, pretty much. Preferred electronic, but that's just me. Whereas, looking to the idea of a Disney princess spin-off movie, well, the idea of a Disney princess crossover movie in general, I would be willing to pay to see with my own money if I ever could. Considering the fact, well, if I can choose, if just pick to see either more Disney princess or Disney fairies, but just newbie for the better of Disney can make more Disney princess movies more so than Disney fairies, but that's just me, you know? Though it would be very nice if Disney were to make any Disney princess movies. Please do keep it hand-drawn, you know? I mean, I could do CGI if I wanted to, but it would be nice if we can get a Disney princess crossover movie that utilizes hand-drawn. But that's just me. But anyways, the fact that there's been no set of any Nintendo characters in Ralph Breaks In is not the only flaw I have with that movie. I wanted to say another legit flaw I also have with Ralph Breaks In would include a lack of third-party characters. While I can understand on my part that if Disney on their end feel like getting as many pop culture characters who become famous memes as much as they could, it may involve lots and lots of licensing. However, that still doesn't excuse the fact that, well, there would indeed plenty of characters beyond the worlds of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars that still hold up as famous memes even up to this day. And to obviously prove it, well, as Wreck-It Ralph is meant to be the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of video games, yes, there would indeed be some video game characters who still hold up as major memes up to this day. And a prime example of one of those video game characters who would hold up as a major meme would be Waluigi. So you guys see why I feel it would be a great idea if Waluigi can be in a Wreck-It Ralph movie, especially in a movie like Ralph Breaks the Internet. Well, I'm not saying it just because I'm one of those people who like that character, but also I'm not just saying just because I'm among one of those people, one of those Mario fanboys, Nintendo fanboys for that matter, or gamers for that matter, in general for that matter, who find Waluigi likable, but also you really, when regarding the character of Waluigi, there is no denying what a major meme he has been these days. Considering the fact, well, when regarding most wanted characters to be in Smash in general, Waluigi, of all people, would most certainly be among one of the top, most highly requested characters to be in Smash, you know? But, yeah. And, also, another video game character another video game character also meme-worthy. He or she should have been in Ralph Breaks In my book, but sadly didn't, would also include, well, there is also, now I'm sure you may have heard me I'm sure all of you heard me mention just now that I feel it would be a great idea if characters like, say, Captain Falcon and Falco both can be in Ralph Breaks the Internet. Well, that's because, well, both of these particular Nintendo characters have been meme-worthy. And to obviously prove it, well, with the case of Falco, there's this one taunt that Falco would always make in Super Smash Bros. Being hands off my prey, which would usually be misinterpreted as nothing more than just hands off my bread. And I will be very honest here that I feel it would be funny if, imagine there would be the scenario where Falco happens to enjoying a nice good old piece of bread. Or at the very least, just some sort of sandwich. For, let's be honest here, it wouldn't be a sandwich without bread, you know? That is, if you're trying to enjoy a good old sandwich the old-fashioned way. But anyways, then came along Fox, who would go take away Falco's bread or Sandwich, that's where Falco would go famously say, as many Smash players would always jokingly say, "Hands off my bread." Whereas when regarding Captain Falcon, well, like Falco, Captain Falcon also did get to say something in Super Smash Brothers that has been meme-worthy among not just Smash players, but also gamers in general, especially people within the Smash community on their own. This time, unlike with Falco, where regarding what he says that would become meme-worthy would be form of a misinterpretation, like it's another "look, I'm your father" situation. Regarding what Captain Falcon says in Super Smash Brothers that gets to be meme-worthy, it is actually something Captain Falcon himself actually always says in the games, in those particular games. That is, I'm talking, of course, of "show me your moves." And speaking about complaints on video game characters not appearing in Ralph Breaks the Internet, there's also another video game character I would have loved to see in Ralph Breaks the Internet, but sadly didn't. That is, I'm talking, of course, of Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Now I get it, Metal Gear Solid is rated M for mature. However, that still doesn't stop Disney from actually referencing Metal Gear Solid once in the original Wreck-It Ralph movie. And let's be honest here. If Disney can get away in including that famous exclamation point as can be seen in Metal Gear Solid, why not have Solid Snake make a cameo in a Wreck-It Ralph movie? You know? I would happily love to see Solid Snake appear in a Wreck-It Ralph movie, considering what happened in the original Wreck-It Ralph movie, where Metal Gear Solid representation can be seen in there, but that's just me. And yes, I also would love to see some characters from educational games that exist, like Rabbit, Clue Finders, Jumpstart, all coexisting in the world of Wreck-It Ralph. Also, that's just me, but yeah. Also, when regarding non-video game characters I want to see beyond the worlds of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars, well, there are definitely plenty of SpongeBob characters I'd love to see. Consider how meme-worthy SpongeBob has been. Not only that, but also, let's not forget about Shrek. Well, regardless what you all think about Shrek now, no matter what you all think about Shrek in general, it's how he's been now, well, there is no denying for a fact that Shrek of all tunes has been becoming a meme icon lately. As much as he once was an animation icon. So I just knew it would make a whole lot of sense that Shrek should have been in Ralph Breaks the Internet. Also, you got some Lazy Town characters. Well, there are two characters from Lazy Town who could have been a perfect fit for Ralph Breaks the Internet in my book, being Robbie Rotten and Stingy. And please do not hate me when I say this, but I would have loved it if My Little Pony characters can be in Ralph Breaks the Internet. Hear me out why. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, I'm sure all of you have heard me mention in the past how upset I've personally been with, well, how my former editors regarding me have been persecuting me in the past, regarding not just how I've been a bully, but also, more importantly, when I got to be guilty enough of doing things with My Little Pony creatively in the past. Well, that's because this person who's also one of my best friends at Anders, in case I can list name, Dante, well, when regarding how it can be regarding the whole idea of my opponent representation at epic battles, you guys can obviously tell that Dante DeJesus, when regarding how he did that kind of stuff, he's just being another Ryan Johnson. Hear me out why. Well, when you have someone like, say, a Zuchi Guardian give either me or Dante, or anyone for that matter, problems regarding such an idea, that's where Dante would go feel like constantly mocking a Zuchi Guardian regarding that kind of stuff. Hence, that can explain why, as people are still fans of epic battles, would likely now remember epic battles as if it were to be another Knives Out, more so than it is Dragon's Den. Or a bit how I could have put it well. When regarding of how what is it regarding get to put me through regarding the whole idea of model and opponent representation of epic battles, I guess you could also say for a fact that epic battles, for whatever reason, went from Dragon's Lair to Knives Out. Or a bit how I could have actually put it, or a bit how I could have also put it, going from, I guess you could say, going from Hungarian Rhapsody number 2, all the way to Run, Rabbit, Run. Or to keep this long story short, as I said before, Dante can be another Ryan Johnson when he wants to be, you know? Like, say if you're one of those people who dare give me some form of problems regarding if certain characters popping up in epic battles. Well, you especially have to remember this about yourself, and that especially means, you, Harry Thornton, if you're watching this, that if you're a fan of something, then it would probably mean you would want to see this particular character pop up in epic battles. And yes, people, that is pretty much the reality of how a lot of characters get to be in epic battles. Not just limited to various Disney characters, various cartoon characters in general, as well as various Nintendo characters, as well as various Marvel and DC characters, as well as characters from other games, as well as things like My Little Pony, as well as things like Star Wars. Not just limited to the original 3 movies, but also the prequels, the sequels, and characters from other forms of media like TV shows, games, comics, and novels. But also, the same canon shall also be said regarding people from Mr. Code and Friends. Yep, you all heard that right. Don't be, to anyone who's a fan of Mr. Code and Friends watching this, do not feel surprised if my friend Dante keeps continuing to use the likenesses of those particular individuals, especially including the likes of Anima and Hitomura, especially including the likes of Hamilton and Morgan Ledger. Well, you have to keep an open mind that there is no deny effect, especially comparing those people to the abomination of Zuchi Guardian. Well, not only can you, as you guys can obviously tell, on how that is not just possible for everyone from Mr. Code and Friends to continue being epic battles, but also how I may not have been bothered as much as I've been with Mr. Code and Friends, as much as how I've personally been lately regarding Wario. Well, there is no denying for a fact, well, there would not only be some contributors of the site, like Animat, Huey Tunmore, and Hamitude, for example, who have too many subscribers, way more to catch, too many subscribers count, even more so than, say, a Zuchi Guardian, but also there would be certain people within the entire Mr. Code and Friends community, like Animat, Huey Tilmore, Sonic Guru, Morgan Ledger, and Hamitude, for example, who would all get fan groups of some sort of some sort of their own, either on Facebook and / or on Discord. That can explain of how, to Dante, epic battles is not the same without anyone affiliated with Mr. Code and Friends, both past and present. Not just limited to, say, Animat, but also Mr. Code himself, Huey Toonmore, Hamitude, South Jersey Sam, and others. And especially including some jerk with a camera. I remember hearing before that there was a scene featuring some jerk with a camera in epic battles, so that did help impact the ratings of epic battles to get a PG-13 rating instead of PG rating, as that's what I both wanted to. And, yeah. Anyways, back on to Ralph Breaks In terms of flaws I have with that particular movie. Yes, and another character, and also there are 2 other non-Disney characters whom I'd love to see appear in Ralph Breaks the Internet that are, well, another character who I feel deserved to be in Ralph Breaks the Internet would include one who also, in whom, say, like Waluigi in the eyes of the entire Smash community, this other character would also become meme-worthy among Smash fans. That is, I'm talking, of course, of a famous major Japanese icon in the form of Goku from Dragon Ball Z. For those who don't know, yes, people, I would have absolutely loved if Goku can be in a Wreck-It Ralph movie, particularly Ralph Breaks the Internet in this case. Also, another character deserving to be in Ralph Breaks the Internet but sadly didn't would include Cookie Monster. Not just because he's my favorite Sesame Street character, but also my favorite Muppet in general, as well as my favorite, let's not forget, he's been very meme-worthy on his part as well. Even having to be among a major crossover icon as well. And as I do constantly complain about certain characters who shockingly didn't appear in Ralph Breaks the Internet, well, a bit over, you're probably going to be asking me whether or not there would ever be any Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars characters who I would have loved to see appear in Ralph Breaks the Internet, but sadly didn't. The answer is, yes, there are actually. Especially when discussing Marvel of all things on their own. While it is nice to see the likes of Iron Man and Groot both appearing in Ralph Breaks the Internet, it is definitely a major shocker that characters in whom say, imagine, say, you feel like producing a live-action movie of that particular Marvel character. That's where you have to get permission from another studio that exists, like Sony or Universal or Fox, for example, like with the likes of Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Hulk, the Fantastic Four, or Deadpool, for example. It is definitely a major shocker that characters like Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Hulk, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool all did not get to appear in Ralph Breaks the Internet. I'd say that would be shocking considering of how, well, let's just say, well, from my understanding regarding the legality of how Marvel themselves and ever since 2009 Disney can be of saying they feel like doing something with any Marvel characters, any characters Marvel themselves created in general, regardless. I guess they're on the right to make it different, to make a live action movie out of that particular character in general. Well, when producing stuff that go along with, well, I guess an animated project of some sort, or a video game, or wanting to make more comics featuring that particular character, that's where it would be typical for both Marvel and ever since 2009 Disney to be able to do whatever I want to do, to be able to do whatever they want to do in their part with whatever Marvel themselves personally created, you know? Like, for example, if you guys don't believe me that'll be the case, and how shocking it would be to see characters like Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Hulk, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool to all be absent in Ralph Breaks the Internet, well, allow me to say this. Ever since when Disney acquired Marvel back in 2009, whenever we do get to see a new Spider-Man TV show that's fully animated, beginning with Ultimate Spider-Man, it would always be typical for those particular Spider-Man TV shows to air on Disney XD. And plus, a grand majority of the different animated Spider-Man TV shows that exist, you can actually watch them on Disney Plus if you want to. Well, that is if you feel like streaming all of your favorite already existing animated Spider-Man TV shows, and at the same time you happen to have Disney Plus, you can definitely stream all of your favorite Spider-Man TV shows if you want. But yeah. Not only that, but also let's not forget about the fact that there would be characters like Spider-Man and Venom, for example, who would get to appear in the Phineas and Ferb Mission Marvel alongside the Hulk. Not only that, but also at the same time, we even got to see Marvel. We even got to see the likes of Spider-Man and the Hulk both appearing and both getting their own Disney Infinity figures. And when regarding Spider-Man, he even got his own Disney Infinity playset in general, where not only can you play as Spider-Man in there, but also Nova, Iron Fist, Nick Fury, Venom, and Green Goblin. And let's not forget the fact that, well, that whenever Marvel feels like approving any crossover games featuring their characters that exist, regardless if any of the Fox-owned Marvel characters get to be in it or not, it would always be a guarantee that both Spider-Man and the Hulk to pop up, as well as characters affiliated with them. Not just limited to Disney Infinity, of course, but also even including stuff like Lego Marvel 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Not only that, but also long before Marvel got to join the world of Disney Infinity, there would once be a certain time period where there would be times where not just characters who would already be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to that point get to be in those particular games, as well as characters such as the Hulk and Spider-Man, but also even including things like X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool to all show up as well, especially as can be seen in games such as all Marvel vs. Capcom games going all the way to Marvel vs. Capcom 3. As well as likewise when the first ever Lego Marvel game got to be produced. Which can likely explain why, well, if I had a favorite Lego Marvel game that existed, it would probably be the original Lego Marvel game, and plus, whenever I feel like playing any, based on how I've been, if I were to play nothing but Lego Marvel games, well, that's where I am with my Lego Marvel game-a-thon in a nutshell. That would be the original Lego Marvel game. Also, another flaw that I admittingly have with Ralph Breaks the Internet would also include, well, when bringing in voice actors to reprise their roles as characters they've previously played outside the movie, like Jennifer Hale, Kate Higgins, and Corey Burton, it would always be typical for voice actors like them to only reprise their role as one already existing character at a time. Like, for example, Jennifer Hale was thankfully brought back to voice Cinderella, Kate Higgins was brought back to voice Aurora, and Corey Burton was brought back to voice Grumpy. However, at the same time, there is no denying for a fact that there shouldn't be any form of denying for a fact that there would be plenty of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and video game characters in which Jennifer Hale, Kate Higgins, and Corey Burton all got to voice. Like, for example, with the case of Jennifer Hale, there would definitely be plenty of video game characters that she got to voice within her entire lifetime, like Tira from Soul Calibur, for example. Not only that, as well as having to do voiceovers for some Star Wars projects, usually games. Not only that, but also with the case of Kate Higgins, she would not only be seen as the current voice of Aurora, which she still has been from my understanding up to this day, but also at the time when Disney was making Ralph Breaks the Internet, Kate Higgins was also said to be the current voice of Tails at the time. You know, Tails from Sonic. Not only that, but also, with the case of Corey Burton, if you know him very well, at the very least, you know your animation, movie, and game stuff, then you should obviously know for a fact that there have been many different iconic and beloved Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars and video game characters in whom Corey Burton has got to voice throughout his own entire voice acting career. Like, for example, to prove that is the case, one of those characters whom Corey Burton would get to voice out his own entire career will be one whom he has been constantly voicing ever since dating all the way back in the 1980s after Hans Conright sadly passed away, and that is, I'm talking, of course, of I will honestly also say is my number one favorite Disney villain of all time, Captain Hook. Now, ever since during the 1980s, Corey Burton has been constantly voicing Captain Hook a lot, even up to this day, which can likely explain why he would also especially get to voice Captain Hook in projects like Return to Neverland, for example, and in Jake and the Neverland Pirates, as well as in things like Kingdom Hearts and Epic Mickey. However, not only would Corey Burton be considered as the current voice of Captain Hook, he would also be considered as the current voice of another iconic Disney character, this time being Ludwig von Drake. Another beloved Disney character, another beloved Disney character Corey Burton also got to voice within his whole entire voice acting career would also include the Magic Mirror. Now, would also be the Magic Mirror, and also another character Corey Burton gets to voice as now, from my understanding regarding the character of the Horned King from the Black Cauldron, it is said that the current voice actor for the Horned King is actually Corey Burton. Also, you got Ratigan. He's also the voice of Mole from Atlantis. He's also got to voice Mole from Atlantis: The Lost Empire. He also, he also got to voice a couple of characters from Alice in Wonderland, like the Mad Hatter, for example. And when regarding how he does impressions of famous celebrities, not only would Corey Burton be considered as the official audio double for Hans Conried, but also he would be considered as the official audio double for Bill Thompson, until Jeff Bennett kicked in 2002 when he got to voice Mr. Smee in Return to Neverland. That's where Jeff Bennett would not only officially take over the role as the voice of Mr. Smee, but also he would also voice Droopy Dog once in a direct-to-video Tom and Jerry movie released that same year. I believe it's called The Magic Ring, as well as eventually getting to voice of the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland in Connect Disneyland Adventures. Also, another character, Corey Burton would also be considered as the audio double for Christopher Lee, thus allowing him to do voices over characters Christopher Lee originally played, like Count Dooku from Star Wars, as well as Ansem the Wise from Kingdom Hearts. And considering the British baritone voice Corey Burton is able to use when doing impressions when voicing characters originally played by Christopher Lee, all that can pretty much explain of how not only would Corey Burton step up to be the voice of Yen Sid from the Sorcerer's Apprentice segment from Fantasia, but also after Tony Jay sadly passed away in 2006, that's where Corey Burton would go step up as the official voice of characters originally played by Tony Jay, or at least previously played by Tony Jay up to that point, like Shere Khan from The Jungle Book, there's Claude Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, and also, let's not forget about the Magic Mirror from Snow White. even though the only time when we've actually seen Corey Burton voice any characters previously played by Tony J will be nothing more than just in Kingdom Hearts games, particularly Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which had the Magic Mirror, and Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, featuring Judge Claude Frollo. And even though it's good to see Corey Burton get to do some voices for both Judge Claude Frollo and the Magic Mirror, it's a major shocker that Corey Burton never got his once-in-a-lifetime chance to voice Shere Khan. Which is a total shame, considering what a great job he does with doing British baritone voices that he would use, not just for the sake of being able to impersonate characters played by Christopher Lee, but also including characters previously played by Tony J. And when regarding the fact that he has no problem using British baritone voice for when doing impressions of characters played by people like Christopher Lee, and characters played by Christopher Lee, it would also be the same exact reason of how Corey Burton would have been casted to voice another Disney character, this time being Sark from Tron. Corey Burton would also dub over James Taylor's voice in Fantasia ever since dating all the way back in 2000, when the original Fantasia on its own did get its first ever DVD release. And something I've been noticing when I do get to watch the original Fantasia on Disney Plus is that, well, all of Corey Burton's voiceovers as originally used in the original DVD version of the original Fantasia is still present if I watch it on Disney Plus. Well, says Disney Plus, who claims that I should be able to enjoy watching Fantasia as it originally was, including seeing that black character from the Pastoral Symphony. And yeah. Also, let's not forget Corey Burton would also be the current voice of Zeus. Even having to personally take over the role of Zeus as the voice of Zeus long before his original voice actor Torn passed away. And yeah. Yeah, when regarding Star Wars representation in Ralph Breaks In, as great as it is to see the likes of C-3PO and some stormtroopers coexisting within the world of Ralph Breaks In, it would also be great if characters like, not just limited to Count Dooku, but also other ones that are meme-worthy, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Mace Windu, to all appear in Ralph Breaks Internet, but that's just me. Let's not forget about characters like Darth Maul, and Emperor Palpatine, and Darth Vader, and Boba Fett. Also, that's just me, but yeah. But other than that, also, it is also a major shocker that Disney didn't bother including characters like in Lone Wind Kita either. But other than that, all of that, I still enjoy Ralph Breaks the Internet for what it is either way. At least they did. At least with the case of Ralph Breaks the Internet, did succeed in ways of how I bet we can all agree. There's definitely things about Ralph Breaks the Internet which it did succeed on, which the Lego Movie 2 sadly failed to do. That is, of course, well, the people at Disney were able to think something creative, like having the entire Disney Princess lineup crossover, as well as Disney having characters from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars all coexisting within one universe. Anyways, back on to D20, my thoughts on D20 2019. Yeah, I definitely, in all seriousness, I did enjoy Frozen 2 for what it is. As for what do I think about the rest of the entire Disney live action lineup, well, I will honestly say this: enough with the live action remakes already. Whereas Marvel and Star Wars, I definitely look forward to. The funny story regarding the Star Wars side of things, I remember when I first heard the news that Solo actually bombed at the box office. There was one certain time period where the last Star, what is said that when regarding the Rise of Skywalker, it is said to be not just the last movie of the entire Star Wars saga, but also there was at one point a certain time period where Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, got to be supposed to be the last Star Wars movie of all time, which did worry me from the beginning, in all honesty, considering of how well I really love Star Wars to death. I would have loved it if Disney were gonna stop making more Star Wars movies 50 years after the Rise of Skywalker. This is the moment where Disney on there and just new Disney on there and should obviously make just new Disney on Walt Disney on there to make sure that they can still keep the spirit of Star Wars alive by allowing theaters like the Alamo Drafthouse, for example, to screen all the older Star Wars movies in one, as they've already been doing so with the Muppets, and especially with Fox. If you really love seeing all your favorite classic Fox movies on the big screen, whether there be movies you can have enjoy seeing during the Christmas season, like Die Hard or Home Alone, or kids' camp screenings of movies like Watching Years in the Peanuts movie, or even if you love seeing Isle of Dogs at the Alamo Drafthouse. Well, fortunately, to all the fellow Alamo Drafthouse customers watching this, just be lucky that one day, just maybe one day, we could not only expect the Alamo Drafthouse host, not just more viewings of. Well, just be lucky that in the eyes of those who love going to the Alamo Drafthouse in general, not only can you expect to see the Alamo Drafthouse host screenings of, say, show movies such as Die Hard and Home Alone during the entire Christmas season, while still screening stuff like The Polar Express, Elf, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but also hopefully post kids camp screenings like Fortune Year Zoo and Peanuts movie, maybe Spies in Disguise, maybe Anastasia, maybe Titan, as well as let's not forget about sing-alongs for things like Anastasia and The Sound of Music, as well as hopefully another viewing of Isle of Dogs. For I really, really loved the Trash Island shake that the Alamo Drafthouse always gets for that particular movie. But that's just me. But yeah. But thankfully, I remember thankfully, looks like we can might as well expect to see Disney make more Star Wars movies whenever they feel like it. Hopefully they have great ideas in mind, just as much as, say, Rogue One or Solo. Both of which I actually enjoyed, with Rogue One being my personal favorite out of all the Star Wars movies Disney has ever approved of, with Solo being my second favorite, but that's just me. But, yeah. Also, when regarding the games, well, it's definitely a major shocker that nowhere have we seen said of any more new Kingdom Hearts things, particularly DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, which is a total shame considering of how well, particularly if you want to see more Disney representation in Kingdom Hearts, like more Disney sequels than just, say, Pirates of the Caribbean Winnie the Pooh. Like, say you want to see more returning worlds than just, say, the likes of Pirates of the Caribbean Winnie the Pooh, for example. Or see things like Marvel and Star Wars finally getting to be represented in Kingdom Hearts. Too bad that still didn't happen even after this, and I'm still waiting to see the day where Sora gets to rescue Jaden from returning to Neverland. And before I can go and close off this particular vlog, I just knew I could not have done a special. I just knew I could not have made a video talking about D23 Expo 2019 without having to get into major discussion regarding Disney Plus. What I think about that? Well, I definitely am loving Disney Plus to death. At least I got some place where I can enjoy not just some of my favorite Disney memories, but also while I can happily watch all my favorite beloved Disney classics as they are on Disney Plus. I'm also able to watch a lot of my favorite Disney sequels as well. Now, an interesting thing about being able to watch certain animated Disney classics like Dumbo, Peter Pan, The Aristocats, and Lady and the Tramp is that, fortunately for us fans of those particular classics, if you're the kind of Disney fan who would love it if you watched certain Disney movies, though, just be happy that, well, when watching movies like Dumbo, Peter Pan, Aristocats, and Lady and the Tramp, as well as TV shows like Gargoyles, you are actually able to enjoy them fully, flat out uncensored and fully uncut. Which is what I would rather watch anyways, but that's just me. But yeah, when being honest, when I also, at least I got Disney Plus, where if I feel like hosting any Star Wars marathons, like say all I ever want to watch or say nothing more than just the first 6 movies and that's it. Which would be my top 6 favorite Star Wars movies of the entire Star Wars Skywalker saga anyways. Are the first 6 movies. Plus whatever spin-off movies Lucasfilm and now Disney get to dish out. I'd happily pay this with my own money. Also, if you guys want to know what are my thoughts on the original content Disney Plus has been putting out, well, let me start off saying, when discussing the Lady and Tramp remake, like I said before, enough with the live-action remakes, please. Also, when regarding the return of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, I'm definitely happy to see, I will honestly say. That won't be for long. Well, when looking to how Dave Filoni would envision the end of Star Wars: The Clone Wars to be, as reviving it goes, it's been decided to do one more season. This time, you guys can honestly tell that the folks at Lucasfilm are on their own, especially including not just George Lucas, but also especially including Dave Filoni. Just want to make sure Star Wars: The Clone Wars get its own proper ending it rightfully deserves, just like what already happened with Star Wars Rebels. Because let's be honest here, the only reason why I can find Star Wars fans who can enjoy Star Wars Rebels as it is because, well, at least in Star Wars Rebels, from my understanding, from what I'm hearing, it does end off on a perfect note. Up to the point that making more new episodes after what's been put out so far wouldn't necessarily be needed. Except maybe appearances in crossover media or spin-off or Star Wars spin-off movies set during that same exact time period, or yeah. Other than that, more new episodes based on Star Wars Rebels, not a need to. And I'm sure once Season 7 is all officially completed, we shouldn't be expecting any more episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars once Season 7 ends, Which should be interesting considering of how, well, yeah. I really love Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which I will honestly say, funny enough, if you guys are wondering what I've been watching on Disney Plus lately, well, TV shows go, I've been watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Mainly because, well, if I had a favorite Star Wars TV show, if we're talking canon, not just limited to canon, but also as well, it would be Clone Wars, Because this is something I always loved about the prequels in a nutshell, including Episode 3 on its own. But that's just me. But yeah. Also, I not only look forward to Season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, but also I look forward to more Marvel things. And no, people have not seen Star Wars Mandalorian just yet, but I will get there once I'm done watching not just the Clone Wars, but also Rebels. So yeah, when regarding I've been with TV shows lately, streaming TV shows, first I'm going to watch the Clone Wars, then Rebels, then Mandalorian. But yeah. Also, outside of whatever Marvel and Star Wars will be dishing out, there would be another TV show I was looking forward to. That'll be one for Pixar, being Forky Asks a Question. And also there's Monsters at Work I look forward to. And yeah, also it is definitely a major show. Also worth noting regarding. Also, I'm definitely excited. About the new and upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi spinoff. And when regarding Disney Plus these days, as much as I love it to death, more for the fact that I can happily stream all my favorite classic and modern Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Fox Family, and National Geographic movies and TV shows as they are, as well as streaming all of my favorite, all the Simpsons content I want, with the rare exception of one episode. Well, this one episode that exists, well, at least I can happily enjoy it on DVD at the very least. But anyways, at the same time, well, it is a major shocker that ever since Disney Plus has launched, even if this is up to the point up to where as I'm currently recording this, never have we ever heard any side of any new hand-drawn animated movies coming to Disney Plus exclusively. Now, yes, there is a Phineas and Ferb movie I'm mostly would be excited about. But never have I heard any side of things that go along with why I just say, I don't know, making Peter Pan 3, a hand-drawn animated movie adaptation of Alice Through the Looking Glass set within the world of Walt Disney's Alice in Wonderland, a third Fantasia movie, or any more holiday-themed Winnie the Pooh movies, or Rescuers 3, or Robin Hood 2, or A Great Mouse Detective 2, and Oliver and Company 2, a Hercules 2, a Mulan 3 with Eddie Murphy reprising role as Mushu, or reviving Dumbo 2, or reviving Atlantis 2, Shards of Chaos, or reviving Treasure Planet 2, or even making a second DuckTales movie, or making a Chip and Dale Rescuers movie, or making a Darkwing Duck movie, or making a Gargoyles movie, or making a Pepper Ann movie, or making a second Doug movie, or making another House of Mouse movie, or making a Weekenders movie, or making another Mickey Mouse movie, or another Donald Duck movie, or another Goofy movie, or another Kim Possible movie, preferably if it's 2D animated, preferably if it's hand-drawn animated, of course. Never have I ever got to hear any of those projects being confirmed coming to Disney Plus. Particularly regarding newer stuff, which I find to be a shocker, nor have I heard sight of any more Phineas and Ferb Star Wars crossover episodes either. It's even if they're done, not even knows that they're done nothing more than specials, which I find to be shocking to hear, considering of how well. I know what all of you probably can be thinking. That yes, when you have John Lasseter in charge of Disney Animation, it wouldn't always be typical for him to consider making sequels to any Disney movies, particularly ones that are hand-drawn, animated. However, you do have to know for yourself for a fact that, well, if you really think that still goes on even up to this day, perhaps you have no idea, well, I bet you may have forgotten, well, if you're wondering what's going on with John Lasseter lately, he's not even working at Disney anymore. And because John Lasseter no longer works at Disney, we could expect to see more sequels to hand-drawn animated Disney movies being made, including a third Fantasia movie. Now, if you see me wanting any sequels to any animated Disney movies to become a reality, not just limited to computer animated things like Inside Out 2, Wreck-It Ralph 3, Zootopia 2, for example, but also including things like a hand-drawn animated movie adaptation of Alice Through the Looking Glass, Edward's World of Walt Disney's Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan 3, a third Fantasia movie, reviving Dumbo 2, reviving Atlantis Through Stars of Chaos, reviving Treasure Planet 2, reviving Hercules 2, making A Great Mouse Detective 2, making Oliver Company 2, making a Robin Hood 2, as well as making a Rescuers 3, and that kind of stuff. At first, you're probably expecting me to say that whenever I say Disney feels like making more sequels to any animated movies in general, especially ones that are to movies that start out as nothing more than 5 drawn. To you at first, it may sound like that I may expect them to all see nothing but direct-to-video releases or stuff, or pretty much not go straight to theaters, not start going straight to theaters of some sort. Well, technically, when looking to the lines of not just wanting a sequel to a movie coming to life that much, but also the same can also be said about what movies I consider to be the best in general. And when thinking about what makes a movie good, especially when discussing things that go along those lines, say sequels, for example, you have to know for yourself that, that when looking to what I consider to be the best sequels, especially when discussing animated in general, including Disney on their own, let me tell you all for a fact, it's not necessarily having said sequel in general getting a theatrical release. That's necessarily a need. Nor is it being part of the Walt Disney animated canon that matters. But more importantly, it has to have a good story and likable characters. So technically, on Disney's part, they have no problems releasing sequels to animated classics that either did not get a theatrical release of some sort, or at the very least, not a part of the Walt Disney animated canon in general, that can still stand out, that still manage to tell a good story and have likable characters. Like, for example, one animated sequel Disney themselves got to approve of that is not a part of the Walt Disney anime canon would include Return to Neverland. Yes, it's got to be one of the very few Disney sequels in general that has ever seen a theatrical release. However, that still doesn't stop Disney being able to tell a really good story and likable characters. I got movies like Return to Neverland, for example, as well as movies like the Tigger movie, for example, that managed to tell good stories and have likable characters despite not being part of the Walt Disney anime canon. But also, yes, it is true that Disney may have made some direct-to-video sequels so bad, like Return to Jafar, Mulan 2, Beauty and the Beast Bell's Magical World, and The Fox and the Hound 2, as they say, as well as Atlantis Milo's Return. Don't forget, Disney themselves have actually made Disney in the past have already obviously approved direct-to-video sequels of their own that actually are very, very... that execution one. Don't forget, Disney themselves have approved of direct-to-video sequels to their animated classics that did manage to tell a really good story and likable characters. Hell, there would even be some that would not only make it as part of Animax's top 10 best animated sequels, but also there would be some that Mr. Code himself actually liked, and there'd even be some that, well, there'd even there'd be internet reviewers such as Phantom Shroud and Jabberwocky, for example, who would go do their own top 5 lists of not just sequels they themselves consider to be the worst, but also what they consider best for their own respective merits. Like, for example, some Disney sequels, some direct-to-video sequels Disney themselves made that are said to be really good. Not just by me, personally, for that matter, but also you can even find some other fellow Disney fans who would also tell you how good they are. Include two that they got to prove in the late 2000s, consisting of Cinderella 3 Twists of Time and Bambi 2, as well as movies like Aladdin King of Thieves. And let's not forget about whatever Lion King things that Disney has ever dished out, with the rare exception of any live-action remake stuff. Well, I say for a fact that when you hear me say that whatever Lion King things in general Disney has pushed out is really good, we're talking ones that use hand-drawn animation as its medium. Which includes things like The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride, which I got to see, thankfully, not too long ago, as I'm currently recording this, as well as The Lion King 1.5, as well as TV shows such as Timon and Pumbaa and The Lion Guards, which I haven't seen yet. But maybe one day, whenever I feel like it, I will get up to The Lion Guard at some point down the road. Definitely among one of my entire bucket list of TV shows I need to watch. But, yeah. As much as I can appreciate Disney Plus more for the fact that I can use it for nostalgia, to enjoy all my favorite nostalgic Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and Fox family memories, including stuff like The Simpsons, well, as Disney Plus will be the home for more new things, more new stuff, as in things that are more Disney Plus exclusive. Well, I really do hope we get more hand-drawn animated projects, not just limited to TV shows, but also movies as well. And now that John Lasseter is gone, and plus, like I said before, Disney themselves have approved direct-to-video sequels in the past that did end up having a really good story and likable characters, such as Aladdin King of Thieves, Lion King 2 Simba's Pride, Lion King 1.5, Cinderella 3 Twists of Time, and Bambi 2, for example, as well as movies like Constable Groove. There's a hope that we could expect to see Disney revive things like Dumbo 2, Fantasia 2006, Atlantis 2, Shards of Chaos, and Treasure Planet 2 one day, as well as make things like Peter Pan 3, hand-drawn animated adaptation of Alice Through the Looking Glass, as well as things like Robin Hood 2, The Mouse Detective 2, Oliver and Company 2, and hopefully revive Hercules 2 as well. As long as, let's not forget, they all have to have a good story. And I say for a fact that all those sequel ideas in particular would all be good ideas because, well, when doing things that go on, say making a movie, for example, you just knew you want to make sure that it has a really solid story at worst and really likable characters at worst, And, and funny story regarding that kind of stuff, also worth mentioning that there is one former animator from an anime studio sadly now closed down in the form of Disney Studios, who really did make some valid points on how much it means a lot to people like him to make all those sequels to those beloved animated classics. Basically, all it takes is nothing but story, 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 and nothing more. Well, and if you really think it was right for John Lasseter to kill off sequels animated classics, including particularly ones that are hand-drawn, perhaps you have no idea, well, let's just say the folk, when regarding the people who actually, when regarding all the people who actually worked on those particular movies, including Sharon Morrow, as well as all the animators hired for these particular projects, if you ever get to talk to anyone who has ever worked on at least one Disney direct-to-video sequel, including all the crap ones that exist, they will tell you for a fact that everyone who got to make any movies made at Disney and make all those direct-to-video sequels in general, even including movies like The Jungle Book 2 and Return to Neverland, can definitely tell you all for a fact that that when making those particular movies as well, they do truly acknowledge of how, well, when Pixar decides to make their own sequels to their own movies, or make movies in general that matters, it would always be typical for those particular people to make sure they have great ideas of stories they want to tell, you know? And with the case of the people who, with the case of Sharon Morrow, as well as the people who got to work for Sharon Morrow when she was in charge of Disney Studios, they want to you can tell they always want to make sure that when making certain movies to life, particularly when making certain movies to life, they want to make sure that they would more importantly have a good story and likable characters, you know? And that's how I judge a movie in general, regardless if it goes to theater, straight home video, made for TV, or straight to streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, or Disney Plus. It has to have a really good story and likable characters, you know? And if you can't think of a really good story or likable characters, or have any likable characters, don't do it, you know? And I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty of ideas of sequels to hand-drawn animated Disney movies that can obviously sound like great ideas. Well, basically, what makes it an idea for a sequel to not just a hand-drawn animated Disney movie, but also sequel to, say, either a movie or a game or a book for that matter, well, you want to make sure you have a decent story at worst, and likable characters also at worst as well. Otherwise, don't do it, you know? And that is especially how I handle myself as a content creator when I feel like tackling other people's properties, you know? I would most likely do it all as nothing more than flat out if I have great ideas in mind. Otherwise, I just knew how to leave it alone as it is and save all that for, say, appearances in crossover media. Stuff like that. Yeah. And that is the end of my D23 2019 vlog. Now, there is one more note I would like to mention before I can close off that particular video. And that is, well, when I did my last D23 Expo vlog, I almost forgot to mention that when regarding the things that bug me regarding the last D23 Expo, nowhere did they get to do something to celebrate the D23 on their podcast ever get to do something to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Return to Neverland at the time. Which is a total shame, considering of how, well, don't forget, D23 in general also did get to celebrate a special anniversary of another Disney Studios produced movie, being a Goofy movie just in time for its entire 20th anniversary. And plus, there would occasionally be times where D23 gets to do stuff with the Disney afternoon, including having veteran voice actor Jim Cummings say the famous Darkwing Duck line, "Let's get dangerous," in the voices of various different Disney own characters whom Jim Cummings has ever voiced out in his own entire career. Maybe not literally every character that exists, but definitely mean the ones from Disney, including one from he did for Star Wars, when he did for Star Wars. And now you finally just reached to the end. Sorry for making another long video. Well, you can definitely expect me to upload some more short videos soon. Until then, I'll see you all in the next upload. Bye.